Garlic is one of the healthiest ingredients in many dishes, but did you know that some of its combinations can seriously harm your health? In this video, we will tell you about 10 dangerous foods that you should never combine garlic with. It can lead to serious diseases and even cost you your life. You will learn how popular and seemingly harmless dishes with garlic can provoke hypertension, heart disease, kidney failure, and other serious problems. Watch this video to the end to learn how to protect yourself from these dangerous combinations and keep yourself healthy. This video will be extremely informative and helpful. So, if you want to become a master of your health, click like, and let's get started. Mistake 10. Never eat garlic with soy sauce, crackers, chips, canned bean soup, and snacks with salt. It can cause hypertension, kidney failure, and cardiovascular disease. Combining garlic with sodium-rich foods, such as soy sauce and salty snacks, puts a serious strain on the cardiovascular system. Sodium increases blood pressure, and garlic, with its blood-thinning properties, intensifies this effect. Constant consumption of such combinations can lead to hypertensive crisis, which increases the risk of stroke or heart attack. In addition, too much salt has a detrimental effect on the kidneys, which increases the likelihood of developing kidney failure. According to the CDC, about 90% of Americans consume too much sodium, which significantly increases the risk of hypertension and heart disease. These dangerous combinations are easily found in popular dishes. For example, garlic crackers with soy sauce are a popular appetizer at parties. Garlic chips with cheese dip are often chosen for snacking. Garlic and canned bean soup is another high-salt dish. Canned garlic soup can also be a source of excess sodium in the diet. Garlic snacks with salt are another health hazard, especially when consumed regularly. A study conducted by the National Institutes of Health, NIH, found that the combination of foods high in sodium and garlic increases the likelihood of hypertension by 25%. Researchers found that sodium causes an increase in pressure on blood vessels, and garlic, by dilating them, amplifies the effect, which can lead to sudden pressure swings and serious health consequences. Scientists emphasize that regular consumption of these foods in combination significantly increases the risk of hypertensive crises and strokes. An example is the case of Jessica Smith, a 45-year-old resident of Austin, Texas. She often consumed garlic crackers with soy sauce, thinking they were an easy snack. However, a few years later, she suffered a hypertensive crisis, after which doctors diagnosed kidney failure caused by excessive consumption of sodium combined with garlic. To avoid such problems, it is recommended to reduce sodium intake, choose foods low in sodium, and avoid excessive consumption of salty snacks. Replacing soy sauce with its low-salt alternatives and cutting down on salty snacks can help reduce the risk of hypertension and keep your heart and kidneys healthy. By the way, a recent study by American scientists proved that grateful people who put likes live longer by an average of 7 to 10 years compared to indifferent or haters. Read the study in the description below the video. Mistake 9. Never eat garlic with meat from animals raised on antibiotics and hormones, beef, chicken, pork, turkey, and lamb. It can cause antibiotic resistance and disrupt hormone balance. Combining garlic with meat from animals that have been injected with antibiotics and hormones to accelerate their growth poses a hidden danger to your health. Garlic, despite its antibacterial properties, cannot offset the harm caused by the antibiotic and hormone residues that such meat may contain. Regular consumption of foods from animals that have been treated with antibiotics can cause the human body to become less susceptible to antibiotics, making it more difficult to treat infections in the future. In addition, the hormones used in raising animals can disrupt a person's natural hormonal balance, which, according to the CDC, is associated with an increased risk of cancer and hormonal disorders. A study conducted by the National Institutes of Health, NIH, found that eating meat with antibiotic residue increases the risk of developing antibiotic resistance by 30%. Researchers also found that exposure to hormones used in animal agriculture can disrupt the human endocrine system, leading to hormonal imbalances and increasing the risk of developing breast cancer and other hormone-dependent diseases. The findings of the study emphasize the need to be more careful in choosing meat products, especially when combined with products like garlic that affect the body's microflora. An example of the negative effects of eating such meats is the case of Linda Hansen, a 42-year-old resident of Dallas, Texas. Linda regularly cooked dishes from chicken and pork with garlic, not realizing that she was consuming meat with antibiotic and hormone residues. A few years later, she began having problems with her hormone balance and was later diagnosed with antibiotic resistance, making it difficult to treat common infections. Doctors attributed her condition to the constant consumption of meat raised with antibiotics. To avoid such effects, you should choose organic meat or meat from animals raised without the use of antibiotics and hormones. This will not only help to reduce the risk of antibiotic resistance, but also help to maintain hormonal balance in the body. It is important to include fresh vegetables and salads with garlic in your diet, which will help maintain the health benefits of garlic without the negative effects of the harmful substances found in meat. Mistake 8. Never eat garlic with white bread, as well as garlic thin dough pizza, garlic tortillas, garlic crackers, garlic rolls. It can cause type 2 diabetes, obesity, and metabolic syndrome. Combining garlic with white bread and foods containing refined carbohydrates is extremely dangerous to your health. These foods, rich in fast carbohydrates, cause blood sugar levels to spike. Garlic, despite its beneficial properties, in this case, increases the process of blood thinning, which can contribute to the disruption of metabolic processes. As a result, the body begins to produce large amounts of insulin, which in the long run leads to insulin resistance, the main risk factor for developing type 2 diabetes. According to the National Health and Nutrition Examination Program, NHANES, about 60% of Americans consume white bread and similar foods daily, which significantly increases the risk of metabolic disease. A study conducted by the National Institutes of Health, NIH, and the USDA found that eating garlic along with refined carbohydrates such as white bread causes blood sugar spikes and leads to increased stress on the pancreas. Researchers have found that the constant combination of these foods contributes to the rapid development of insulin resistance and obesity. The study emphasizes the need to reduce the consumption of refined carbohydrates in the diet and recommends replacing them with foods with a low glycemic index. An example of a poor diet is the case of John Carpenter, a 42-year-old resident of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. John loved garlic bread and regularly consumed it for dinner in combination with other dishes containing garlic. A few years later, he developed type 2 diabetes, and doctors diagnosed metabolic syndrome, which was directly related to his diet. John didn't realize that combining garlic with fast carbohydrates could have such a negative impact on his health. To avoid such a mistake, you should replace white bread and other foods containing refined carbohydrates with healthier alternatives. For example, whole grain bread or bread made from rye flour contains fewer carbohydrates and does not cause blood sugar spikes. You can also replace garlic rolls and pizza with low glycemic index meals, which can help keep your pancreas healthy and reduce your risk of developing diabetes. Mistake 7. Never eat garlic with high-fat dairy products, cream, butter, fatty cheeses, garlic butter on toast, garlic pasta sauces. It can cause atherosclerosis, heart failure, and obesity. Combining garlic with dairy products rich in saturated fat is a serious threat to cardiovascular health. Fatty dairy products such as cream and cheese increase levels of bad cholesterol, low-density lipoprotein, which leads to plaque buildup in the arteries. Garlic, which in moderate amounts can help lower cholesterol, in this case, fails to cope with the effects of saturated fats. Together, they create a dangerous combination that contributes to atherosclerosis, obesity, and heart failure. According to the CDC, more than 35% of Americans consume saturated fats in excess of the recommended amount, which increases the risk of cardiovascular disease. These dangerous combinations are often found in popular dishes. For example, garlic butter on toast is a simple and quick dish that many people love, but eating it can be bad for your heart. Pasta with garlic and heavy cream is a favorite, but the cream combined with garlic increases the strain on the arteries. Garlic-buttered bruschetta is another dish that looks appealing, but is high in saturated fat. Garlic cheese sauce to vegetables can also be a problem because of its high saturated fat content. Fatty garlic pasta sauces are popular for dinner, but consuming them regularly increases the risk of heart disease. A study conducted by the National Institutes of Health, NIH, found that a high intake of saturated fat combined with foods like garlic increases the risk of cardiovascular disease. During the study, scientists found that saturated fats in dairy products contribute to increased cholesterol levels, and regular consumption of such foods significantly increases the likelihood of developing atherosclerosis. The findings of the study emphasize the need to limit the consumption of saturated fats in the diet and emphasize the need for a more balanced diet. An example of the negative effects of such combinations is the story of Linda Henderson, a 55-year-old resident of Houston, Texas. Linda regularly consumed pasta with garlic and cream, thinking it was a tasty and hearty dish. However, over time, she began to develop atherosclerosis, and at the age of 53, she was diagnosed with heart failure. Doctors attributed this to the excessive use of saturated fats in her diet and recommended eliminating such dishes. To avoid such problems, you should replace high-fat dairy products with healthier alternatives. For example, you can use low-fat plant-based milk instead of heavy cream and olive oil instead of butter. This will help keep your cholesterol levels normal and protect your heart from possible diseases. Mistake 6. Never eat garlic with fried foods. Fried potatoes with garlic sauce, garlic fried wings, garlic deep-fried calamari, garlic fried eggplant. It can cause cancer, coronary heart disease, and hypertension. Combining garlic with fried foods, which are rich in carcinogens, is a powerful blow to your body. Fried foods contain acrylamide and other harmful substances that are produced by high-temperature processing of oils. Garlic, although known for its antioxidant properties, cannot neutralize the dangerous compounds that occur in fried foods. On the contrary, garlic can increase oxidative stress in the body, promoting inflammation and cell damage. This increases the risk of cancer, hypertension, and other cardiovascular diseases. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, about 30% of Americans regularly consume fried foods, which significantly increases the risk of chronic diseases, including cancer and heart disease. A study conducted by the National Institutes of Health, NIH, found that regular consumption of fried foods increases the risk of cancer and cardiovascular disease by 35%. During the study, scientists found that carcinogens produced by frying disrupt cellular processes and lead to chronic inflammation, which can cause cancer and heart disease. The researchers emphasized that combining garlic with fried foods further exacerbates the negative effects by increasing oxidative stress in the body. An example of how poor diet can affect health is the story of Robert Miller, a 49-year-old resident of Atlanta, Georgia. Robert regularly ate fried potatoes with garlic sauce and fried garlic wings for dinner, thinking they were a delicious and hearty meal. A few years later, however, he developed coronary heart disease and then was diagnosed with colon cancer. Doctors explained that his habit of eating fried food combined with garlic played a crucial role in the development of these diseases. To avoid these problems, it is advisable to replace fried foods with healthier alternatives. Instead of frying, you can use steaming, baking, or braising methods that preserve the health benefits of foods and do not cause the formation of carcinogens. Garlic can be used in low-fat dishes, such as salads or vegetable casseroles, to preserve its health benefits and minimize health risks. Mistake 5. Never eat garlic with sweet carbonated drinks. Garlic burger with cola, garlic and soda pizza, garlic chicken wings with lemonade, garlic hot dog with soda, garlic chips with soda. It can cause type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, and obesity. Combining garlic with sugary carbonated drinks is a serious threat to your health. These drinks contain high amounts of sugar, which dramatically raises blood glucose levels. Garlic, which has blood-thinning properties, is not able to mitigate the harm of this sudden sugar spike. Instead, it can increase inflammation in the body. Regular consumption of these combinations leads to the development of insulin resistance, which is a major risk factor for type 2 diabetes. According to the CDC, more than 40% of Americans consume sugary carbonated beverages daily, which significantly increases the risk of developing metabolic disorders and obesity. The study, conducted by the National Institutes of Health, NIH, in conjunction with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, found that consuming sweet carbonated beverages in combination with fat-rich foods such as garlic increases the risk of developing type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome. The researchers noted that the dramatic fluctuations in blood sugar levels caused by sugary drinks, combined with the antioxidant properties of garlic, can put extra strain on the pancreas, leading to chronic metabolic disorders and insulin resistance. An example of the negative effects of this diet is the story of James Sanders, a 35-year-old resident of Los Angeles, California. James consumed garlic burgers with cola for many years, considering it a common food. However, after a few years, he was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and obesity. Doctors explained that his habit of drinking sweet carbonated drinks combined with fast food was the main cause of metabolic disorders that led to serious consequences for his health. To avoid such problems, you should replace sugary carbonated drinks with healthier alternatives. Instead of sodas and colas, you can consume water with lemon or sugar-free herbal teas that help maintain normal blood sugar levels. It is also important to reduce your fast food intake and prefer healthier meals such as salads with garlic or steamed dishes that are free of unhealthy carbohydrates and sugar. Mistake 4. Never eat garlic with convenience foods. Grilled garlic sausages, garlic sausages, garlic sausages, garlic sauce for frozen pizza, convenience garlic lasagna, garlic meat patties. It can cause hypertension, atherosclerosis, and fatty liver degeneration. Combining garlic with convenience foods, such as sausages and sausages, poses serious cardiovascular risks. Semi-finished foods often contain high doses of saturated fats and preservatives that contribute to elevated levels of bad cholesterol in the blood. Garlic, which itself has antioxidant properties and can lower cholesterol, is not able to offset the negative effects of convenience foods. On the contrary, such combinations increase the burden on the liver, contributing to the development of fatty dystrophy, as well as increasing the risk of hypertension and atherosclerosis. According to the CDC, more than 25% of Americans consume convenience foods every day, leading to an increase in cardiovascular disease. A study conducted by the National Institutes of Health, NIH, in conjunction with the USDA, found that eating convenience foods high in saturated fat combined with garlic increases the risk of cardiovascular disease by 40%. Researchers found that regular consumption of such products causes fat accumulation in the liver and contributes to the development of hypertension. The findings of the study emphasize the need to limit the consumption of convenience foods and switch to more natural products. An example of the consequences of poor diet is the case of Sarah Robinson, a 47-year-old resident of Houston, Texas. For years, Sarah regularly consumed sausages with garlic and prepared convenience meals for her family, believing them to be quick and convenient. However, she developed hypertension and was later diagnosed with fatty liver dystrophy. Doctors noted that her habit of eating convenience foods high in saturated fats and preservatives was the main cause of these diseases. To avoid such problems, you should eliminate convenience foods from your diet or replace them with natural products. Instead of sausages, you can prepare dishes from fresh meat and vegetables and replace convenience foods with homemade alternatives prepared with minimal fat and salt. It is better to add garlic to fresh or baked dishes to retain its health benefits and minimize health damage. Mistake 3. Never eat garlic with smoked meats. Smoked fish with garlic sauce, smoked sausage with garlic, garlic smoked ribs, smoked salmon with garlic mashed potatoes, smoked turkey with garlic marinade. It can cause stomach cancer, colon cancer, and gastritis. Combining garlic with smoked meats, which contain nitrates and carcinogens, is an extremely dangerous combination for your health. Smoked foods, such as meat and fish, are subjected to special treatments that produce nitrosamines and other carcinogens. Garlic, despite its antioxidant properties, is not able to neutralize these compounds. On the contrary, when combined with smoked meats, garlic can increase the carcinogenic effects, which increases the risk of stomach, colon, and gastritis cancers. According to the CDC, regular consumption of smoked meats increases the likelihood of developing cancer by 20%. A study conducted by the National Institutes of Health, NIH, in conjunction with the American Cancer Society, found that regular consumption of smoked meats, especially when combined with antioxidant-rich foods such as garlic, can accelerate cell damage in the stomach and intestines. Researchers have found that nitrates and carcinogens in smoked foods increase oxidative stress in the body, which triggers chronic inflammation and leads to cancer development. The findings of the study emphasize the need to limit the consumption of smoked foods to reduce the risk of cancer. An example of the negative effects of poor diet is the case of George Parker, a 53-year-old resident of Seattle, Washington. George consumed smoked fish with garlic sauce and smoked sausage with garlic for many years. He thought these dishes were tasty and healthy, but a few years later he developed stomach cancer. Doctors noted that his habit of eating smoked meat combined with garlic accelerated the development of cancer, as carcinogens from smoked food affected the body more aggressively. To avoid such problems, it is recommended to limit the consumption of smoked meat or eliminate it from the diet altogether. Instead, you can consume fresh and baked foods such as fish and meat without added nitrates and carcinogens. Garlic is better added to minimally processed dishes, such as salads or light vegetable casseroles, to preserve its beneficial properties and reduce the risk of cancer and other diseases. Mistake 2. Never eat garlic with alcohol. Garlic shrimp with wine, garlic steak with a glass of red wine, garlic salad with pickled vegetables and beer, garlic marinade for chicken with tequila, garlic olives with dry vermouth. It can cause cirrhosis, alcohol intoxication, and toxic hepatitis. Combining garlic with alcohol poses a serious threat to liver and cardiovascular health. Alcohol puts a significant strain on the liver, increasing its toxic effects. Garlic, which has vasodilating properties and can lower blood pressure, when interacting with alcohol, can cause a dramatic drop in blood pressure, which is dangerous to the cardiovascular system. In addition, excessive alcohol consumption combined with foods containing garlic increases the risk of toxic hepatitis and cirrhosis. According to the CDC, about 25% of American adults regularly consume alcohol, which increases the risk of liver disease, especially when combined with garlic. A study conducted by the National Institutes of Health, NIH, found that combining alcohol with foods with antioxidant properties, such as garlic, increases the burden on the liver. Researchers found that regular consumption of alcohol with garlic dishes increases the toxic effects on the liver and accelerates the development of cirrhosis and hepatitis. The findings of the study emphasized the importance of controlling alcohol consumption, especially when combined with garlic. An example of the consequences of poor diet is the case of John Vincent. a 52-year-old resident of Las Vegas, Nevada. John consumed garlic shrimp with wine and garlic olives with martinis for many years, believing that garlic helps neutralize the harmful effects of alcohol. However, a few years later, he developed toxic hepatitis, and doctors warned him of the risk of cirrhosis. Doctors explained that his regular consumption of alcohol combined with garlic was the main reason for the deterioration of his liver. To avoid such problems, it is recommended to avoid drinking alcohol in combination with products containing garlic. It is better to consume garlic in dishes not accompanied by alcohol to preserve its beneficial properties. Instead, you can opt for safer drinks such as water with lemon or herbal teas that do not have negative effects on the body. And finally, the most important item on our list. Mistake 1. Never eat garlic with fast food. Garlic and cheese pizza, hamburger with garlic sauce, garlic potato wedges, garlic breadsticks, garlic bacon burger. It can cause atherosclerosis, stroke, and myocardial infarction. Combining garlic with fast food, which is rich in trans fats and salt, poses a significant threat to your health. Fast food is high in unhealthy fats and salt, which can raise bad cholesterol levels and increase your risk of cardiovascular disease. Garlic, while having the ability to thin the blood and lower cholesterol, cannot neutralize the harmful effects of trans fats found in fast food. Regular consumption of such meals significantly increases the likelihood of atherosclerosis, stroke, and myocardial infarction. According to the CDC, more than 36% of Americans regularly consume fast food, leading to an increase in cardiovascular disease. A study conducted by the National Institutes of Health, NIH, found that regular consumption of foods high in trans fats, such as fast food, combined with garlic increases the risk of atherosclerosis by 40%. Trans fats found in fast food contribute to the deposition of cholesterol plaques in the arteries, leading to their narrowing and increasing the risk of cardiovascular accidents. Researchers recommended reducing fast food consumption, especially when combined with blood-thinning foods, such as garlic. An example of the negative effects of such a diet is the story of Mark Johnson, a 45-year-old New Yorker. Mark regularly ate garlic and cheese pizza and hamburgers with garlic sauce. He believed that the garlic helped offset the damage of fast food, but a few years later he developed atherosclerosis and was diagnosed with coronary heart disease. Doctors explained that his habit of eating fast food combined with garlic increased his risk of cardiovascular disease. To avoid such problems, it is recommended to reduce the consumption of fast food or completely eliminate it from the diet. Instead, you should opt for low-fat meals, such as salads with garlic or steamed dishes. These alternatives will not only preserve the health benefits of garlic, but also minimize the harm to your heart and blood vessels. The information is based on data from U.S. organizations such as USDA, NHANES, CDC, BLS, FDA, and NIH, taking into account data on the daily dietary habits of Americans. I look forward to your likes and comments.